The first time a package went missing, I blamed the delivery guy. The second time, I blamed the system. The third time, I blamed Karen. She lives across the street in the beige house with the HOA-compliant hedges and 3 no-soliciting signs. She wears perfume that could drown a room and speaks like every word she utters is a gift you don't deserve. She waves at my Ring camera every morning, not to say hi, but to remind me she's watching. When I moved in 6 months ago, she introduced herself with a clipboard and a warning. We like things tidy here. No yard clutter, no loud music, and definitely no leaving boxes on the porch unattended. It felt more like a threat than a welcome. I didn't think much of it. I'm quiet. I work from home. I don't party. But apparently, my greatest sin was receiving mail. It started with small stuff, a missing book, a lost phone charger. Then a pair of running shoes disappeared. Then a tablet. Amazon refunded me. But every time it happened, I noticed the same thing. Karen's trash bins got fuller, bulkier. Coincidence? Maybe. Until I saw her one morning in a pink bathrobe sprinting across her lawn to snatch a brown box from my porch. She didn't see the new camera I'd hidden in the birdhouse. I watched the footage 5 times. She smiled at the camera, then flipped it off. That was the day I stopped being polite. That was the day I became creative. Because if Karen wanted to keep stealing my packages, I'd give her something worth unboxing. And I promise you it wouldn't be a tablet. Karen wasn't just my neighbor. She was the self-declared warden of the entire block. She didn't work, not in the traditional sense. Her job was managing everyone else's business. She patrolled the street every morning in her plush robe and orthopedic sneakers, Starbucks in one hand, clipboard in the other, noting which lawns weren't edged properly or whose garage door was left open too long. I learned early on that Karen didn't believe in boundaries. If my trash can wasn't flush with the curb, I'd get a sticky note on my mailbox. If I forgot to bring it in by noon, she'd leave a voicemail. I never gave her my number. She got it from the HOA directory. She knocked on my door once uninvited, of course, to tell me my welcome mat was offensive. It said, "Come back with tacos. I just think it's suggestive," she sniffed. She had an opinion on everything. The height of my grass, the color of my porch light, the length of time I let my dog sniff around the mailbox. But the packages? That was new. At first, I thought I was imagining things. I live alone. Sometimes I lose track of deliveries. But after the 5th lost shipment, I started logging everything. Order times, delivery confirmations, camera timestamps, and patterns emerged. Always in the morning. Always within 15 minutes of drop-off. Always when I was in a meeting. And always followed by Karen walking back across the street with her arms full and her sunglasses on even when it was cloudy. The final straw wasn't even valuable. It was a set of silicone spatulas, color-coded, dishwasher, safe. I'd ordered them on a whim after doom-scrolling through home-cooking TikToks. I saw the Amazon truck on my camera, dropping off the box. 12 minutes later, the package was gone. And so was Karen back inside, blinds twitching. That night, I filed a police report. Nothing happened. Apparently, porch piracy is only a priority when you catch someone red-handed. Video footage? Circumstantial. A neighbor in a robe holding a box? Not proof enough. So I tried talking to her. Big mistake. I rang her doorbell, and she answered with a smirk already forming. "Is this about the packages?" she said before I opened my mouth. My stomach dropped. "I think there's been a misunderstanding," I said, keeping my voice even. "Oh, I'm sure there has," she said, leaning on the doorframe. "You know, some people just aren't a good fit for this neighborhood. All those deliveries. Kind of excessive, don't you think? I work from home, I said. I'm sure you do, she said, tone syrupy. She looked past me, scanning my porch like she was auditing it. Anyway, if things keep going missing, maybe consider using a P.O. box. Or better yet, shop less. Then she closed the door in my face. I stood there, shaking for almost a full minute. She didn't deny it. She dared me to do something about it. That's when I stopped playing defense. That's when I started building the trap. Karen didn't steal because she needed anything. She stole because she liked making you feel small. And it worked for a while. After our doorstep confrontation, things got worse. Subtler, but worse. My mail started arriving late. Once, a utility bill came waterlogged and torn, crammed halfway into the mailbox. Another time, my dog's vet records were left open on my porch in the rain. When I asked the mail carrier about it, she looked nervous, said she was told to leave things a bit higher up the steps. Told by who? Karen, obviously. I knew she'd inserted herself into every system she could. HOA meetings, neighborhood watch, the Nextdoor app. God, especially the Nextdoor app. She posted daily about unusual traffic patterns and packages littering porches like graffiti. Always vague, always self-righteous. People loved her, or at least, they feared her enough to pretend. I noticed it most when I walked my dog. Neighbors who used to wave now gave tight, polite nods. One mom pulled her stroller slightly away as I passed. I heard things not directly, never to my face but in hushed tones. She's the one who filed a report about Karen. She leaves boxes out all the time like she wants them stolen. Maybe she's trying to sue the HOA. Karen was painting me as the problem. And it was working. It wasn't just public perception she controlled, it was physical space too. My trash bin started getting knocked over mysteriously every Tuesday morning. Lawn service accidentally skipped my yard 2 weeks in a row. The recycling guys left my bin on its side in the middle of the street. Petty things. Things that didn't matter on their own. But they stack. And soon, I started dreading opening the front door. Started timing my errands to avoid her patrol walks. I became a ghost in my own house, quiet, careful, invisible, which is exactly how Karen liked it. She didn't need to scream to control you. All she had to do was make you tired. But what Karen didn't know, what she couldn't imagine, was that I wasn't just tired. I was ready. While she was building a fortress of plausible deniability, I was designing something handcrafted, elegant, efficient. I even called it the package. It looked normal enough. Brown box, bubble wrap, fragile sticker. But inside was a motion-activated glitter bomb, a Bluetooth tracker, and a hidden dye packet rigged to burst 30 seconds after opening. A little dramatic? Maybe. But you don't bring passive-aggressive notes to a psychological warfare fight. You bring confetti revenge. I placed the box on the porch at 8:13 a.m., right after the usual Amazon drop-off window. I went inside, turned on my cameras, and waited. It took her 11 minutes. She didn't even glance at the birdhouse cam, just shuffled across the lawn like she was fetching the morning paper, grabbed the box, tucked it under her arm, and vanished behind her double doors. I waited, watching the feed, not breathing. Then faint, distant, but unmistakable. Screaming. Then the unmistakable sound of a vacuum. Karen had opened it, and my trap had just started to unfold. The dye I used was technically non-toxic. Technically, but it was also permanent. A neon magenta blend that clung to skin, fabric, and, most importantly, fingernails. The glitter, industrial grade, fine as dust, designed to sneak into every crevice and never truly leave. And the Bluetooth tracker? Well, that part wasn't for drama. That was for insurance. Within 20 minutes of the box being taken, I had pings showing it inside her house, then in the garage, then silence, which meant she found it. Or it found her. Later that afternoon, I walked my dog. Karen wasn't outside. For the first time in 6 months, she wasn't policing garbage bins or muttering into her phone about grass height. Her curtains were drawn. Her porch was empty. But her car, it was parked in the driveway, with bright pink handprints smeared across the door handle. Subtle? Number? Satisfying? You have no idea. That night, a new post appeared on the neighborhood forum. An anonymous warning about vigilante behavior and dangerous prank devices. Thinly veiled, full of big words Karen probably Googled. I didn't respond. Others did, because apparently mine wasn't the only house missing packages. Turns out, Karen had been making rounds for months, borrowing things for safekeeping, taking in suspicious deliveries, all in the name of neighborhood safety. But now people were watching her, because magenta is hard to explain, especially when it stains your front steps. I gave it a week. Then I visited the local precinct. I handed them a folder, printed screenshots of the GPS pings, time-stamped videos of Karen stealing, her own forum comments, and a signed affidavit from another neighbor who finally came forward. Someone she'd accused of mail fraud for daring to install a smart lock. I didn't file a full report, just asked that it be logged. Just in case, I said, smiling. The officer flipped through the pages, eyebrow arched. Looks like she picked the wrong porch. Not just mine, I said. She picked the wrong person. 2 days later, a police cruiser idled in front of her house. No lights, no siren, just a quiet talk on the porch. I don't know what was said. I didn't need to, because that night, under the cover of darkness, Karen dragged 3 black garbage bags across the street and left them on my porch. Inside were boxes, opened, mostly intact, some obviously used. One had a lipstick kiss on the label. Creepy, but predictable. New note, just shame, shrink-wrapped. I didn't say anything. I didn't answer when she knocked the next day. I didn't acknowledge the basket of muffins she left on my step. Gluten-free, passive-aggressive, and probably laced with poison. I didn't need revenge anymore, because she was unraveling all on her own. And I was just getting started. The HOA meeting was supposed to be about seasonal flower budgets. It became a reckoning. Karen, of course, chaired the meeting. She always did, perched at the head of the fold-out table like some suburban empress, pearls tight around her throat, manicured hands folded like she'd never stolen a thing in her life. She opened with the usual niceties. We appreciate your cooperation this quarter. Great progress on uniform hedging. Please remember to keep Halloween decorations tasteful. People murmured, nodded. Then I stood up. I didn't raise my voice, didn't bring props. Just passed around a manila envelope filled with color-printed stills from my security footage. Karen, in her bathrobe. Karen, bending to snatch a box. Karen, giving my camera the middle finger. I watched the color drain from her face like bleach through old silk. Someone gasped. Someone else muttered, "That's her?" And then the room, always so afraid of Karen, turned. I kept my tone calm, clinical. These images are time-stamped. They correspond with delivery confirmations and tracking data. The packages were reported stolen, filed officially, logged with local police. Karen tried to speak. "This is slander." "No," I said, locking eyes with her. "It's evidence." She looked to the HOA board, 4 other residents she normally manipulated with cookies and veiled threats. This time, they looked back at her with tight mouths and narrowed eyes. One of them, Mr. Felder, coughed and said, "Well, I think a formal review is appropriate." Another added, "I had a package go missing last month. I just assumed. He trailed off. Karen stood, straightened her blouse, tried to reclaim her mask. I think this is a misunderstanding, she said with the voice of a woman who had never, ever been told no. Then, for the first time, she made a mistake. She turned to me and snapped, "Why do you always have to play the victim?" It landed like a gunshot because everyone heard the truth in that sentence. She wasn't sorry. She was cornered, and her fangs were finally showing. I didn't say another word. I didn't need to. By the end of the week, Karen had been removed from her post pending review. Her name disappeared from the group email thread. Her daily patrols stopped. The notes gone. Her Karen smile replaced by a twitchy grimace every time I walked by. And the best part? It wasn't me who filed the formal complaint. It was Mr. Jenkins from 2 doors down. Apparently, his daughter's birthday gift had gone missing last month, too. I just lit the match. Everyone else brought the gasoline. Karen didn't move out. That would have been too easy. Instead, she stayed behind her curtains, behind the shutters, behind the persona she'd spent years curating. Only now, the cracks were visible. The patrol walk stopped. Her dog, who once barked at every leaf, now barely left the yard. The forum posts dried up, the sticky notes on mailboxes replaced by silence. But the best part? The porch she once polished daily with seasonal wreaths and perfectly aligned doormats now sat barren. No decorations, no deliveries. Just a faded welcome sign and the quiet humiliation of being seen. I didn't gloat, not out loud, but I did buy myself a new doormat. It reads, "Steal this, Karen." A few weeks after the HOA meeting, I found a handwritten letter taped to my door. No envelope, no signature. But I knew the handwriting. Slanted, neat, controlling. She didn't apologize. Not directly. Just 3 lines. "You could have handled it differently, but I suppose you always needed an audience. Congratulations." I laughed when I read it, because in the end, that's all she had left her bitterness. Her need to cast herself as the misunderstood matriarch of a neighborhood that had finally stopped bowing. And me? I started ordering again. Books, plants, dog toys. 1-day shipping. But now, I left the boxes out for hours. Let them bask in the sun like quiet victories. Because nothing says, "I'm not afraid of you anymore," like cardboard marked delivered. I even hosted a block party. Just snacks and lawn chairs. Nothing fancy. But people came. Mr. Jenkins, the Felders, even the shy couple from the corner house. We drank lemonade and swapped stories. Someone asked me if the glitter story was real. I just smiled. And Karen? She watched from her upstairs window, curtain drawn back exactly 2 inches. She never blinked.